okay, connect a band to that, twist. Does that hurt? No, that feels better. Something's coming on that isn't coming on. So when you're getting back pain, getting it because something's happening.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that's really interesting too. Like before Scott does his thing, I'd say it's even more important from a.
Wait, who's the heel kick outer?
Both of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
both of us.
it's both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's even more important from a health standpoint, I'd say, with throwers, because there's so many studies that show a lack of lower body power can overload the elbow, and that's why you're seeing so many UCL, Tommy John surgeries and whatnot. And if they're not driving from there first, and they're just trying to, get it with the shoulders, and all that stress just right there.
And they're throwing this out because this sling is not connected, right?
Yeah, same thing. When
I'm not getting oblique line, I'm not getting adductor, I'm not connecting those because chances are when I'm warming up, this is what my warm-up looks like.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, now I'm going to get in. And then everything your brain says is forearm, elbow, shoulder, right? Instead of thinking hip, power, then coming through.
Yeah.
You're setting yourself up in a pattern to where when you actually need it,
Yeah.
it's going to go to that pattern.
Yeah.
Right? So you think you're throwing a 98 mile an hour fastball, and you're like, my ass is working. In reality, it is. It's just not working harder than the shoulder and the rotator.
Yeah.
So then you're fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone take your partner to a band, and let's look at how they rotate. Switch your partner. So, actually no, don't switch your partner because then you won't be able to see the difference in how they move.
Arms pretty much straight out for the most part? Or
Yes.
a little bend?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to see it all move from the other side of stuff.
So,
Who's supposed to do it? I don't know.
you move the shoulder, shoulder lap hip, shoulder lap hip. Yep. Try and go hip. Try and go hip. Better. Hip. Nice deal.
Yeah, you're definitely more shoulders on this side.
Okay.
It's funny.
It's like, boy, everything lets loose down below until you bring those hips in
I
first.
don't watch Dale.
Nice. Try and leave the shoulder. Delay the hip. Hard to even think about delaying that hip. That hip wants to leave by itself. Yeah. Cool.
That's because of it. Head down to the tire plates, period. I need my truck.
You do this now.
Period.
Doing good, Dale.
Cardio, Dale.
Doing good, man.
I already walked to the other gym down.
What else do you want?
Hopefully it
Shoulder.
doesn't take long. Period. I need my truck. Period.
Now you're going hip to shoulder.
I thought the hips were more active the
Hip to
other way.
shoulder, right?
Yeah, now you're
I
delaying
think they're less active this way.
Okay, the problem that we do have is that we kind of primed you guys with what, right? So you may have seen a switch in that. But that's okay, right? If you're that good at changing it because you just gave one cue of, oh, hey, maybe try to use your ass cheek first, then you go, okay, well, good. That was an easy cue, right? Okay, so let's go to basic questions. Okay, so your question was, is it just going to come on if I condition it? Maybe, right? This is where it comes down to, do you have someone coming in with acute or chronic pain, or do you just have someone coming in for performance-driven stuff? Okay? You can look at them globally and how they move, and if you see a deficiency, right, you go, okay, what do I need here? If they're doing this at the end, you've got two options. Shorten their range of motion, keep them integrated, make them get stable to that point when they go to change, right? And then give them core stability conditioning, breathing, bracing, anti-rotation, anti-flexion extension, using isometric, right? Get them stable, okay? then see if those combinations over a couple weeks changes their availability. Okay? So if I can move 30 degrees without any compensation, and when I go another 2 or 3 degrees, I posteriorly tilt, right, my rib cage to get extra. Okay. Here's where I can take them. So there's where I, boom. How do you do that, right? Okay. Grab that band. Come out. Let's twist that as far as you can. Okay, it's pretty good. Turn around. Let's see the other side.
That's the dominant side.
Okay, it's pretty good. Brain's dropped right. But let's see what his end range is. Go ahead and this one. Yep.
Okay.
Go to your end range. Now go in a little extra. Okay. He's able to find it a little bit, but let's just for the sake say that here he kicks in to try to find a little extra. Okay. So we know we're going to stop him about here. Be aware of that, right? Okay, cool. Give me 10. Control. Right to my hand. Boom. Don't let him go past it. You can even block him a little short of it. It shouldn't matter. You're training the pattern. You're training the stable pattern. Then, okay, cool. Now we're going to do a plank. He does a plank. We got him bracing. We got him creating a good pattern, dead bug, whatever you want, whatever your movement is to create that static position. Okay. Then we progress him. We're not even going to look at his range yet. We're just going to give him some speed. All right. So we're going to give me 10 reps. Yep. A little more dynamic. A little more dynamic. Yep. Yep. Okay. Now he has two things. When he sees my hand there, he has to do something that when he's hitting, he does not have to do. He has to decelerate. Right? When he's hitting, he just lets it go. Right? You're going through the ball. So here he has to create a control pattern. So now he's getting extra stability work. Okay? Your fighters is a little different, right? You have to decelerate or you end up on your face. Because you just keep throwing that punch.
Well, I mean, I was thinking you are taught to follow through all the way through a strike.
But you retract.
Yeah, but also if you hit impact, then you're interrupted partway through. So, like if you're making an impact, you don't get to follow through all the way like you would if you weren't making an impact.
But either way, you don't leave it.
No.
Definitely taught not to leave it, right?
Please hit me back.
Yeah.
Come on, do it.
So there's always some sort of decel,
Right.
right? Brings back. So golf, there's really not. Right? Maybe a little bit at the top just so you, because you guys are hitting, you can technically just,
Oh yeah.
right, you Babe Ruth it. But in golf, you still have a good solid follow through, right? Throwing, there's no real decel.
Yeah, you get a
So,
little recoil if anything.
It's
you know?
just enough that you don't end up on your face,
Yeah.
right? So when you're teaching that that ground force reaction of being able to and decel it, you're creating a lot of neural power because you're able to lock it into place. And if you're used to not ever having to lock it into place because you're just kind of kicking out, right? Your body doesn't know how to control that motion, which goes back to what we originally talked about, which is the only way you're going to have range of motion is if you can control the range of motion. Okay? So even though you guys can just let it loose, right? You should have the availability, not necessarily under full speed swing, but to be able to and come back.
Right.
Yeah, you might as well train that. Like, there's no
Right.
harm that can come from
Okay,
it.
so when you guys are working with athletes, you do med ball throws, right? Okay?
There actually
So,
ought to be a lot of eccentric conditioning that would go towards those joints and muscles.
all right,
Oh,
so
there is, yeah.
Part of the binding, you know what I mean?
side we'll do rotational throws, both facing this way.
We're both facing towards you.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
how far should I throw? Just kind of.
I don't know.
Far enough not just not to
I
not.
already know.
Yeah.
Okay,
it to
so what we typically think about when you guys are coaching, I mean, I don't know what your brain says, but when you guys are coaching, by
See you,
now,
Dale.
Nice to meet you.
your
Good day, baby.
focus, right? Come a little closer. Okay. If I'm looking at you two guys, and typically your sports conditioning, you're looking at this person, right? Okay, go to him. Good, I want you to generate power, right?
Uh-huh.
What did he have to do?
Oh,
Decelerate.
decelerated.
He's
Yeah.
got to decelerate, right?
Yeah.
He's taking more impact than you are.
Absolutely, yeah.
You are creating an external force for him to receive.
Yep.
Okay? So we don't want to, if you're going partner to partner, don't discount the partner.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what do they kind of glance at when they catch it? What do they do? Ugh. Right? There's poor motor control there.
Yeah.
Right? If I can't receive it, I'm going to have a deficit in sending.
Uh-huh.
To absorb.
I got to have availability both ways.
Gotta send
Yeah.
it, you know.
Got to send it.
Gotta send it.
Right?
You gotta absorb it to send it. Absorb
Plus,
it.
there's reaction force. This is relevant here, right? Because there's a coil. Boom. I'm coming back. Boom, boom.
You're also taking impact.
You're receiving. Yep. Well,
A lot.
ideally you're not taking that much, but if you're gonna catch
Yeah,
something. But also
so-
even
I'm
just
just kidding.
when you're making contact, right? You're coming into external force. You're having to receive that body.
Right.
And ideally, you're trying to go through them, but there is a chance you are just going to hit it, like you're saying, and not get that full response. You got to be able to receive that. Okay. Where else is this pretty relevant? Okay. Where do you need to receive external force and be strong? What other sports you guys play? Play football?
Oh yeah, yeah. Football,
Yeah.
basketball, yeah.
Growing
Right.
up, skiing, snowboarding, I mean.
You ever taken a hit?
Judo? Or any kind of throwing art?
Anything, right?
Yeah.
Anything where you are receiving force. Okay? And this is where we're kind of going a little tangent. We'll get maybe more into this next week too, but external forces are under trained in athletes because people don't think about what you're trying to achieve there, right? When you train, do you train football players? Right? When you were doing med ball work with them, were you thinking I'm throwing this at you because I want you to be able to tolerate taking a blow, or were you trying to generate power?
Well, with the baseball players and football players, if we had the wall, it was both. It was generating it. It would hit the wall, and then
Right.
you have to absorb all of that too. So yeah.
So you have to have it in your mindset of like, okay, I've got to teach this person's body to be able to absorb force and condition. Same
Yeah.
thing with speed work, right?
Yeah.
The most important part of speed work is deceleration. If you let them right out the gate sprint out and blow off, right, and give them 40-yard dash and they've got 100 yards to do it, right? They may be able to generate a ton of power, but their joints will eventually take the brunt of it because they cannot stop.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, I'm training the guy to run the combine, right? And he blows a 40 out of the water, right? But he does a 3-code drill and
Yeah.
garbage
Yeah.
because he goes in, it's like, right? Or he's getting massive patellar tendon issues because he's going from only working on acceleration. I'm sure he's running that drill a little bit, but you're
Yeah.
not doing a lot of like accel, decel, right?
Yeah.
You have to teach the body to absorb force.
Yeah.
This exists in
Tennis players is especially.
lateral transition,
Yeah,
right?
lateral transitions,
Boom.
forward back.
I have to absorb force. Where do you think most of the ankle injuries come from in
Right.
tennis and basketball?
Rolling.
Right? It's coming in laterally.
Sideways.
Oh no, I stepped on a player. Or
No.
you came out,
Rolled.
right?
Yeah.
Non-contact ACLs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lateral.
Right.
I can get into a whole tangent on why I think that even exists, but realistically, their body was not conditioned to be able to stabilize that force, assuming it was healthy. If it wasn't healthy, it's because they overtrained it and they broke tissue down, they had a bunch of injections, and that's smaller. No. Realistically, they did not have the power to be able to absorb force and transition. Look at old pictures of Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
The guy would like be
God, yeah.
laid over like this and transition back.
Yeah.
Right? Watch Derrick Rose before he blew out his
Yeah.
ACLs.
Yeah.
His ability to move, you don't even know how they can make the transition that fast.
Yeah.
Transition is part of that.
Yeah.
Okay? So think about that when you guys are working with athletes as both absorbing force and giving force. And then assess where is it coming from and how can I optimize it.
Where is what coming from?
Where's the force coming from?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Oh, okay. I'm turning. You get lat, lumbar, and glute. Okay? bleeding it through the top. I need to find it in the glute. Boom, I need that power, and then follow through. Okay? So, it's just different ways of looking at it. Standard athlete, general populace, doesn't really matter. What we're really looking at is if they have back pain, if they have some issue going on, do they have a fluid symmetry of motion? Are they getting glute activation? Do they have range of motion? Okay. Your question about internal, external rotation.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough to test, but why don't they have it on one side or the other? Two reasons. One, they have legitimate deterioration or impingement. More likely, they have a muscular neurological imbalance, and their body does not trust motion in one way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay? So loaded internal rotation, right? If I lock this leg in and I rotate in with force, right? I rotate out, external rotation, right? Lateral lunge motions, right? I'm loading a range of motion and I am loading the availability of internal and external.
Oh yeah.
If they have issues of pain or something in the rotation, then you might do something more foo-foo.
Yeah.
But be tuned into when they rotate, what is their internal rotation on left versus right? Do they feel restricted? Oh, I go left and it just feels like it binds up. You know, I go right and it's just like, boom, I have a real end range. This is just, okay, I gotta condition that. Gotta turn it. Maybe I'm just moving through the hips. Okay? So we can get more, we'll go to that lower half section next week. We'll look specifically at what is happening in the lower half, because that starts to get into our pelvic rotation issues. That starts to look at that different stuff.
Sweet.
Cool. Questions?
Not right now. Might think of some later, but yeah.
We can always revisit stuff.
For sure.
All right, good.
Cool.
Next week?
Yeah.
Be here,
I
yeah.
mean, I'll be here all week, but next week,
Oh,
education.
next week I'm out of town. Scott is.
I'll be
Well, if it makes you guys feel better, so am I.
Yeah, cool. Fair enough.
I'll think about that. But we'll have someone. We'll either have Rachel do something on TRX, or we'll have Kurt do a little. Maybe Kurt could do a little something on the BFR.
I could.
Yeah, that might be kind of cool. Kind of interesting.
We're talking about next week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Good stuff, man.
Thanks, David.
Thank you.